Welcome to our sleepover. You know, the type of sleepovers where you guys ask me questions and I answer them and that's it. So I guess like if an interview process was a sleepover. Anyways, I have my trusty little possum here. He will be joining us this evening. And let's not even waste any time because I have a document with 30 questions on it. So let's get into it. The first question is actually 2 questions in one, and these are my 2 most asked questions, okay? How did you find your personal style, and how did you gain confidence? Which I actually already have a 40-minute long YouTube video answering those 2 questions, which I will link here or here. Either one of these corners. I'm just like really good at this YouTube thing. How does being in your 20s work? How do you be an adult? That is a good question. Let me know when you find out the answer. When I entered my 20s, I thought this was something that would just naturally click in my brain. Everybody was like, oh, when you're 25, your brain is fully developed. And I was like, hell yes, like I will finally know the secrets to life, being an adult, the universe. Did not happen when I turned 25. I am currently 25. I'm going to be 26 in July. I know time is scary. All I can say is that I do think people are right when they say that your 20s are for learning and life gets better in your 30s. At least that's what I'm hoping for. To me, being in your 20s is learning how to be an adult because you go from being a teenager to being 20, 21, graduating college, and all of a sudden you're thrown into this adult world and it feels impossible to navigate. That being said, I do not have any solid, concrete advice except take your time and learn from your mistakes. Like, it's okay to make mistakes in life in general, but especially in your 20s. And I think you just have to learn from them, and that experience will help you learn how to better adult. This question's a little similar, but how do you avoid procrastination in your everyday life? See, the thing about me is I have anxiety. Sometimes I do have the kind of anxiety that makes you procrastinate and put things off because you're scared and anxious. But most of the time I have the kind of anxiety where I'm so anxious I want things to be over with as quickly as possible. So I'm like always early to events or appointments. I'd rather just get something over with than have to dwell on it and worry about it. So for me, avoiding procrastination usually comes down to anxiety and wanting to not have to worry about something. Off topic, but I did not realize my possum fell over, so I very much apologize to this little fella. What was I saying? Oh yeah, procrastination. I also think what helps is just trying to make things a little bit more fun to take away the scariness. Like if you're procrastinating cleaning up, put on some music like that you love to dance to and view it as something that's not like menial and annoying to do, but something that like, oh, when this is done, I'll feel so much better because my space will be neat and tidy. Procrastination is something that's kind of hard to give advice on because it could be like a symptom of anxiety or ADHD, and I'm not qualified to tell people how to fix that. But as someone with anxiety, for me, a big thing is just reminding myself that these tasks and these things aren't as scary as I'm making them out to be in my head, and that I will feel much better if I just get the task done in the like usually 10 to 20 seconds it takes to send an email or make an appointment or something. I will feel a lot better than having this task or this thing hanging over my head. I hope that makes sense. What do you mean when you call yourself a small fat? So there's this little thing called fat liberation, and fat liberationists have come up with a spectrum called the fatness spectrum just to kind of measure fatness, for lack of a better way to say that. From my understanding, small fat is a size US 18 or lower, usually a size 1X or 2X. Like you're fat, you're plus size, but you're on the smaller end of being plus size and can usually find more things that fit you. Because fatness is a spectrum, there's people who are a 1X and there's people who are a 6X. And even though both those people do experience fat phobia, their experiences are very, very different, and how they move through the world and how the world treats them are very different. This next question made me laugh a lot. Are you currently working/studying? I remember you being a law student. I have never been a law student. I was sitting there reading that comment thinking, why would this person think I'm a law student? And then I remembered this TikTok that I posted completely sarcastically, like as a joke, ironic, not real. But I guess some people did take it real or seriously. Sorry, I just the idea of people thinking that I'm a lawyer is so funny. It kind of makes me want to become an actual lawyer. Like, you should definitely not trust me to keep you from going to prison, but just know that as your attorney, I probably not would be serving the law, but I would be serving. I'm not currently studying. I already graduated from college like 2 years ago. I'm currently working in social media full time, like posting on social media and stuff. But I don't know. I have been thinking about changing my career path. I'm not sure, but that's scary talk. That's stressful talk. And this is a fun sleepover. Hopefully it's fun. What did you major as? I have my bachelor's of science in sociology. Okay, this section is going to be about my cats because I got quite a few questions about them. So for the people who care, this is for you. What did you name your new kitten? We named him Bobka. I did bounce a lot of ideas off of my boyfriend because I wasn't totally in love with the name Bobka, but he just was not into them. He was like, this child's name is Bobka, so I will tell you all the ideas that I came up with or one of my friends came up with that I liked. Molotov. Onion Galette. Mr. Stink. I personally really advocated for Mr. Stink, mostly because his personality is very stinky, and I just thought it'd be a cute and funny name that would make people smile and laugh, but also be like, aw, cute. But was not into it. Squid. I thought Squid was very cute because he does give a squid personality. Soup. I thought Soup would be really cute because then we could be like, good soup, bad soup. But also because he had like a little soup belly, like, you know, like the little baby kitten bellies where they get all round. And so we would call that his soup belly. And I just thought the names like Loaf and Soup would be so cute together. So, you know, what could have been, I guess. But yeah, his name is Bobka. Is having a kitten hard for a working person? I work from home and my boyfriend goes to school full time and has a job. And I will say that having a kitten is stressful. Like, I'm by no means an expert on cats, but especially because I already had an older cat, so just trying to get them to get along, you know, behave together. A kitten is a baby, you know, like a puppy. A puppy is a baby, and a lot of people think that because cats are more independent than dogs, that having a kitten is just really easy. And I will say, I think it just depends on the kitten. I've only been around 2 kittens in my life. One is Bobka, obviously, and the second one is my mom's cat. And my mom's cat is just a sweetie pie. She integrated so well into like being in a household with dogs. She is just a wonderful little cat. Bobka is a different story because we already had a cat who was used to being by herself. And so, you know, like there's a learning curve and it's definitely work. I would not say that it's easy. So if you're somebody who thinks you might not have the time to take care of an animal, like I don't think you should get a pet because at the end of the day, kittens are babies and they need attention and love and to be fed and mental stimulation and socialization. That was a lot of talking. I'm sorry, that was a lot of talking. But I guess that's what this whole video is. I feel so bad for my possum. He keeps getting knocked around and tossed everywhere, but just know he's beautiful and loved. How is Loaf coping with Bobka? She's coping, that's for sure. I don't know if I'd call what she's doing coping, maybe more like putting up with. But she really hasn't been doing that bad. She's definitely my sweet potato angel baby. I love her so much. She has been a good girl and she has been such a trooper putting up with Bobka's ass. Has getting a cat affected your fashion? I know I didn't wear black for years because of the cat hair. Honestly, no. I'm so used to it at this point because Bobka's not my first cat. I've been living with Loaf because Loaf was my boyfriend's cat originally. I've been living with her for like 4 years at this point, so she's my baby, and she has white fur, and as someone who likes to wear black clothes, her white fur gets everywhere. And I will get comments from people being like, why are your clothes so dusty? Like, why are your clothes covered in hair? It is what it is. As a cat owner, like, I'm not gonna fight it. Yes, I have a lint roller. I'll use it, but at some point, it's just, it's a losing battle, you know? I got really passionate about that. But my point is you cannot let your cat stop you from slaying and wearing what you want to wear, okay? The cat hair is just an outfit accessory. Do you ever see yourself living outside the US? Honestly, yeah, I'd really like to live outside of the US one day. I'm not entirely sure where. And I know I'd probably have to learn a new language, and that would be fine with me, but I would prefer to not live in the United States forever for the rest of my life and not live anywhere else. What is your relationship to the concepts of masculinity and femininity in self-image? I like this question a lot because even though my style is more feminine leaning, I do feel like, growing up, being a woman, being fat, I've had a complicated relationship with masculinity because when you are tall and fat, masculinity is automatically assigned to you. And so for most of my life, I never felt feminine and nobody ever treated me like I was feminine. It was just kind of this automatic, well, she's tall and she's fat, so she's like one of the boys. And that's not what I wanted. So I do feel like my style, or like style wise, I have overcompensated into being more feminine, but I do enjoy masculine silhouettes. And as I got older and more people started to view me as more feminine, I had to come to terms with the fact that people, but specifically men, viewed my personality as more masculine because I wasn't afraid to speak my mind and say how I feel and do what I wanted to do. And, as I got older and I started dating, a lot of men did not like that, which, bullet dodged. And I don't want to use such like binary terms to describe my personality and my style and the essence of my being. But yeah, I do think this question is really interesting, and it's probably my favorite one that's been asked just because I don't think anybody has ever asked me this question before. And it really does make me think back and reflect on how my experiences growing up has shaped my relationship with masculinity and femininity, and obviously how that affects, my style and what I do now. Least favorite trend right now. It's not so much a fashion trend, I guess it kind of is, but the whole thin is in, heroin chic is back in, Ozempic, just the fat phobia, just the blatant fat phobia of people being like, oh, you need to be on Ozempic, and just thinking that it's okay to tell other people what to do with their bodies, or to fat shame, or to treat people like shit for the bodies they have. That is definitely my least favorite trend, even though it's not a trend because it's something that's been in society for the past several decades and has not gone away, but people have definitely gotten a lot more bold about it. How do you deal with authenticity when self-expression in any capacity starts to feel performative? We could get philosophical about this because the idea of authenticity kind of in and of itself is a performance because you're trying to convince people and to convey to them that you are a genuine human being. And it all gets really murky, especially right now because there's such an emphasis on being yourself and getting people to relate to you that a lot of people try hard and you can kind of tell they're trying hard. And that's not necessarily a criticism of those people because, those are just the times we're in. Like, that's what people value right now. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to follow people and watch content creators or celebrities or people who you feel a connection to and who you feel like you can relate to on a certain level. For me, that authenticity is just, doing what I like and what I feel good doing and just being who I think I am, at least when I'm with my friends or by myself. And obviously on a certain level, like everything is a performance. We could get deep into this, but yeah, for me, it's mostly just, doing what feels authentic for me. How do you stay kind to yourself when gaining weight? This is something that's really difficult, and it's something I've definitely experienced in the past couple years. Just gaining weight and, kind of coming to terms with that while also trying to treat yourself nice because we do live in a society where fat phobia is rampant, where the pressure to be thin is so astronomically high that when you do gain weight, there's this part of you that feels like you're a failure or you're doing something wrong. But I think it's important to challenge those ideas and those beliefs and try to dissect where they come from and analyze. I feel like it's such a sociology major right now. Did I even say sociology right? Anyway, my point is just to try to challenge those beliefs and analyze where they're coming from, and just kind of think about how thinking like that does not serve you, because people gain weight for different reasons, right? Like you can be in ED recovery, you can have a chronic illness, it can be medication, it can just be a wide range of things, and gaining weight is not inherently bad. So for me personally, just kind of trying to rewire my brain and give myself reassurance that I need. For me, body neutrality has also been very helpful rather than body positivity, because body positivity kind of leads into the whole like your body is perfect, everybody's a good body, whereas body neutrality is more like bodies are bodies and that's what they are. And for me, I think I relate to that a lot more, because when people are like, how do you deal with showing your arms because my arms are bigger and they're not toned? For me, it's just kind of like, well, my arms are arms, and it's getting hot out and I don't want to sweat. I want to feel comfortable. So I'm going to have my arms out, rather than like, oh my God, I love my arms. They're so perfect no matter how they look. And I think trying to shift my mindset from the latter to the former, from like body positivity to body neutrality, has helped me a lot to take the pressure off of myself, because I am but a human being. I cannot feel positive about my body all day, every day. I hope this is making sense, but I guess the point of what I'm saying is to remind yourself that bodies are bodies, and there's not a good body or a bad body, and just do what's right for you. And gaining weight is just a part of life. Weight fluctuates. Most of us do not stay the same weight forever. And yeah, just trying to teach your brain that it's okay. And something else that also helps me a lot is kind of reading about fat phobia and the origins of fat phobia and just how that operates in the world, because I think the more you deconstruct your own internalized fat phobia, the better your life experience will be, at least with yourself and gaining weight. Why do I feel like nothing I said made sense at all? I may not always be the most eloquent speaker, but I hope some of you at least understand where I'm coming from and what I am trying to say. What's something that completely changed your life or way of thinking? I'm not even exaggerating when I say that Jemima Kirk Instagram story where somebody asked her for advice for unconfident young women, and she said, I think you guys might be thinking about yourselves too much. Every time I start to feel unconfident or bad about myself, I just remind me, I think you're thinking about yourself too much, and it genuinely does make me feel better. What's your favorite fashion era? It is so hard to pick just one, but I think for fashion that's more elevated, more elegant, not very wearable in today's society, definitely Rococo fashion. Hi, baby girl. My co-host decided to make an appearance. Oh, you work so hard and we appreciate all of your effort, baby girl. I love her so much. So yeah, definitely Rococo fashion. For more modern wearable eras, I cannot pick between the 60s, 70s, 80s, some elements of the 90s and 2000s. It's so hard to pick. I don't know. I can't narrow it down, but just know that I genuinely do not discriminate. I also love 1920s fashion. I'm an indecisive human being, and I can't pick simply one fashion era. I apologize. There's just too many good ones. Do you ever feel insecure in your relationship because of your body? We have a very similar body type. Beautiful, but in my relationship, I'm very insecure about it because of all the conventionally perfect girls out there. How do you navigate that? It's not that I feel insecure in my relationship, because I fully trust my boyfriend and I know how attractive he finds me and how he would never give me a reason to not trust him. But I will say that in the beginning of our relationship, I definitely felt insecure. Not really because of my body, but more because just growing up, I have a messed up family. Okay, a lot of cheating has happened in my family, and so I never really had an example of a good, healthy relationship. And so in my mind, something that was just inevitable in a relationship was cheating or being cheated on. So that was my source of insecurity in the beginning of my relationship. For me, it wasn't a question of if my boyfriend was going to cheat. It was just like, oh, he's going to cheat, but when? And that's not through his fault at all. Like, my boyfriend has never done or said anything that would make me not trust him. It was just my own personal anxiety and beliefs that that was something men just do. And so I was just kind of waiting for the other ball to drop. But with that being said, I have gained weight since I started dating my boyfriend. And sometimes I am insecure, especially if we're watching something or we're somewhere and, you know, there's a conventionally attractive, beautiful woman with, like, you know, societally perfect body. Part of my brain does go to the, oh, like, does he wish he was with someone like that? But that is just so unhealthy for you, for your relationship. Like, you can't put those thoughts in your head because it's just also not fair to your boyfriend, because if your partner is with you, they clearly enjoy your company, they find you attractive, they want to be with you. I'm not trying to invalidate your insecurities because life is life, and sometimes it's just kind of inevitable that we will compare ourselves to other people, even though that's definitely not good for our brains at all. But I will say that everybody has their insecurities, and if your partner is with you, they clearly like you and find you attractive and enjoy your company. And if I were you, I would just try to combat those beliefs and thoughts when you're having them, and remind yourself of the baddie you are and why your partner's with you. Because I will say that sometimes that level of insecurity can affect your relationship. Clearly, I'm not a relationship therapist. I'm not like a marriage counselor or anything. I can't give you life-changing advice, but just don't let yourself get so carried away with those thoughts, because a lot of the times it's just our own personal insecurities and anxieties, and it's not fair to our partners to push those beliefs onto them. Hopefully in your relationship, your partner has never said or done anything to make you feel like you should feel bad about your body. That is what I am hoping, because if they have, maybe find a new partner, please. I am begging you. What are your favorite films? When Harry Met Sally, Scream, 10 Things I Hate About You, Everything Everywhere All at Once, To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. There's definitely more. Those are not all of them, but they are on the Notes app list I made, because every time people would ask me what my favorite movies are, suddenly I couldn't remember one movie. I have watched a lot of movies and I've enjoyed a lot of them, and so I don't really have like favorites, but those are definitely movies that I love and have rewatched and can rewatch. How do you deal with a video of yours that gets a ton of negative or mean reception? I don't read the comments. I just do not read my comments. I am so sorry to you guys, but if a post has been up for more than a few hours, I generally stop checking the comments, at least if it's starting to gain a lot of traction, just because I know how people are and I don't want to subject myself to that. Unfortunately, I've been a woman and fat on the internet for a long time, so I am used to the horrible things people say to me. Does that make it okay? Absolutely not. But my personal way of dealing with it is to just not look at my comments and just kind of give myself that peace of being like, I don't actually have to read these things. I don't have to subject my brain to that. And if I get mean DMs or emails, I usually just kind of laugh and block them, because some people hate me so much for just being me and posting my silly little outfit videos and trying to make people feel more comfortable in their body, that they get very angry and take time out of their day to leave me some horrible message. And I find that amusing. But obviously I'm human. Like, some days I will read a mean comment and it will get to me and I'll cry about it, because I have feelings and emotions. Surprise, surprise. But generally, I just kind of remind myself that other people's opinions of me, especially strangers who don't even know me, their opinions don't matter. And I'm very fortunate because I have a good group of friends. I have a great boyfriend. I have my mom. So I have people around me who are not afraid to remind me of how they feel about me and how great they think I am. I think there's also a certain level of disassociation, like kind of how people on the internet who leave horrible comments on people's photos or videos don't view that content creator as a human being. I don't view anonymous people with random screen names and no profile picture or like an anime profile picture as human beings. So when I read that, I kind of feel nothing. I'm like, that's just a little person in a computer. Like, what do I care? So yeah, I hope that was a helpful response. What's your size so we can see what clothes would look like on somebody similar? I'm generally a US 18. Sometimes if things run a little smaller or it's vintage sizing, I can do a 20 or 22. I don't even want to talk about women's sizing and how messed up it is because that could be a whole other video. But usually I am an 18. What do you think has been the most impactful / helpful in terms of self-acceptance? What factors, habits, or whatever do you think helped you the most in finding yourself and ultimately liking yourself? Genuinely, the biggest thing that I think has helped me like myself more is to not think about myself so much, or at least try not to. I know it's really hard because especially with social media and stuff, and especially for me because it's my job, I look at myself a lot. I listen to myself talk a lot, like I will be when I edit this video. But generally when I start getting those thoughts of just being like, oh, what if this person thinks my outfit looks bad? Or what if they say something about my body? Just trying to stop myself and be like, who cares? Like, most people are not even looking at you. They're not even thinking about you. And even if they are, why would I care about their opinion? Like, why would I care about what somebody has to say if they are horrible enough to say something to somebody else about their body and what they think of it? For me, a really big factor is having a good support system. You know, people who care about you, who understand you, and for me, having other fat friends who I can share experiences and thoughts with, and just kind of bonding over how we move through the world together. Something that's really important for me also, clearly, because, you know, fashion is my job. It's what I love in this life. So when it comes to my closet or fashion, just having pieces that I genuinely like and enjoy and that fit me. So when I put those pieces on, I don't feel bad about myself or my body, because unfortunately when clothes don't fit us, our immediate reaction is there's something wrong with my body because my body is supposed to fit into these clothes, rather than these are clothes and they're supposed to fit me. As for different habits, trying to step away from social media and anything that makes me feel bad. Sometimes I will quite literally just turn my phone off for 20 minutes and put it in a different room or charge it in a different room so I don't have to have it near me. So I'm just not like impulsively scrolling on social media and quickly making myself feel worse. Also, journaling has helped me a lot because I'm somebody that has a very hard time verbalizing my feelings and expressing them. So when I journal, I can just kind of word vomit onto the page and write whatever I want because I know that I'm going to be the only one reading it. And it does make me feel better because instead of keeping those feelings and thoughts bottled up, I'm releasing them onto the paper. There's so many things, but another thing that I think has helped me with self-acceptance is just kind of realizing that I am not immortal, okay? Because when we're younger, like, we think we have our whole lives ahead of us, and ideally we do, and that, you know, we're gonna live forever. But personally, like, sometimes I do think about my own mortality, and I just kind of sit there and I'm like, do I really want to be 50 years old, 60, 70, 80 years old, thinking about, oh, how I wish I liked myself when I was in my 20s, because it's wild that I spent so many years disliking myself. This is my one life, and I want to wear what I want to wear and live the way I want to live. Okay, maybe not 100% living the way I want to live because I do not have an endless flow of money, but I think you all get my point. How did you meet such an amazing boyfriend? I think you mean, how did he find such an amazing girlfriend? No, but seriously, I do love my boyfriend a lot. He's one of my best friends, and we met on Bumble. Surprisingly enough, I'm still waiting for my Bumble sponsorship. I think it's wild that they have never reached out to me because I have a Bumble success story. We have been together for almost half a decade, 5 years. Bumble, come on. This next part, Mom, I know you watch my videos, and if you do watch my videos, please just turn this off right now. Please do not watch this, okay? I am kindly, humbly requesting you to click out of the video right now. I'll give you a sec. Okay, hopefully she's gone now. Are you gay? And also, have you Would you believe me if I said that as soon as I uttered those questions, my phone was like, you're out of storage. You're done. My phone's also dying, so I'm going to try to get through this quickly. I'm putting these two questions together because I do think that I'm bisexual, but I haven't been able to explore my sexuality because I've only ever really dated for like 3 months total. As soon as I started dating when I was 20, like 3 months later, I met my boyfriend and I've been with him for 5 years. So I haven't had the chance to explore my sexuality. So part of me is like, well, should I call myself bisexual if I haven't explored my sexuality? Which is bullshit, because I know you don't need to do that in order to know who you're attracted to. And, you know, I know people who have dealt with similar things. So that's just a part of life sometimes. And yeah, hope that answers your questions. You often style clothes that we're scared of. Are there any clothes you're scared of? There are clothes that I'm scared of, but not in the sense of like I'm scared to wear them in public. More like putting them on my skin makes me want to crawl out of said skin and collapse on the floor. I've mentioned this before, but there are things that I wore a lot as an insecure teenager, like skinny jeans and cardigans and leggings, that I wore them so often that in my mind, I associate those things with feeling that way in that era of my life. Also, Bobka appearance. Oh my god. Oh, that makes me so happy. That was Bobka's first surprise appearance in one of my videos. What was I saying? I think I was talking about how I associate those clothes with that period in my life. So whenever I try wearing them now, I'm like, oh, I'm an insecure 12-year-old all over again. I'm not necessarily scared of skinny jeans, but they do kind of give me the ick. So if those are a big fashion trend again in the future, I will not be participating. And those are all the questions. That flew by so quickly, and if there are any other questions you want to ask, please leave them down below and I will answer them in a future Q&A. Just because the Q&A is over doesn't mean the sleepover is, because it will go on forever in our hearts. Oh my god, I just realized this is Bobka's first sleepover. Baby boy, he's so grown. Look, he doesn't even want to be near his mother anymore. Not like I saved you off of the street or anything. It's okay, my love is not conditional. My love is not conditional. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a little thought of me before you go to sleep tonight, because of the sleepover stuff. Loaf, Bobka, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! So long and good night. So long and good night. This is what living in New Jersey does to you.